Hello everyone, this is Varsha and you are watching the series of success stories brought to you by Indian Achievers Forum. So once again, we are here with you all to discuss the success story of one more achiever of our, and this time we have with us Mr. Pankaj Kankar, who is the CTO of Reliance Retail. So, Mr. Pankaj is a seasoned technology leader with passion for building global products, winning teams, and high performance culture. In his 25 plus years career, Pankaj has authored several success stories of exponential growth through technology and cultural transformation in both B2B and B2C space. An HPS alumni, Pankaj is currently Chief Product and Technology Officer at Reliance Retail, where he heads technology for the fashion and lifestyle businesses. Pankaj's earlier stints include COO at Ferre and CTO at Lenskart and Freecharge. Pankaj holds around a dozen patents and published several research papers in top rated conferences and journals. He is also an active angel investor, mentor, and advisor to some interesting startups. But before we actually start the conversation with him, let's quickly have a look at a very small video telling you about what we actually do.
Indian Achievers Forum is driven by a full-fledged advisory board. The board consists of experienced personalities who have excelled in their respective careers. Together, the forum organizes conferences, events, workshops, exhibitions, trade shows, and B2B initiatives in India as well as abroad. Where there is passion, there is achievement. And where there is achievement, there is Indian Achievers Forum.
Hello, sir, how are you?
I am very good, Varsha. How are you?
All good, sir. Thank you so very much for asking. So, though I have given a short introduction about you, I still request you to please tell us a bit more about yourself and your professional role as well.
Sure. So, Varsha, I would start with my passion, which is technology, uh, coaching and developing people and teams, and then mindfulness and spiritualism. So, it was natural for me to get into technology professional. I did my graduation from NIT Surathkal and post graduation from BITS Pilani. And then later on, I did my executive management and leadership program with Harvard Business School. And throughout 25 years of my career, I have been into technology and product development across various organizations and diverse set of domains. And last 12 years in CXO's roles. Currently, I am Chief Technology and Product Officer at Fashion and Lifestyle Business at Reliance Retail. Prior to that, I was Chief Operating Officer at Farai, a logistics SaaS company, and then earlier Chief Technology Officer at Lenskart and Freecharge. So that has been sort of the professional journey. I also am a very active angel investor, and last 6 7 years have been advisor and mentor to quite a few startups, as well as mentoring some of the budding leaders.
Lovely, sir. So, if I talk about your, professional journey so far, so what have been the key challenges and learning in your professional role? So, if you can please talk about those things.
Sure. So, Varsha, as I mentioned, had worked across diverse set of environment from large MNCs like IBM to various startups, from telecom domain to e-commerce to retail to advertising technology. And as a technology leader, one of the common challenge that we see is keeping pace with the technology because it's changed very fast. Right? So that has been one common challenge. For me, the other challenge had been how to adapt to various different set of environments. Each company has a very varied set of environment and the domain. And from telecom to e-commerce to logistics. But what I realized once you start developing a big picture, you are able to extract certain common patterns that apply to various different problems that may seem very different, right? So I think that ability that I could learn working across various domain has been one great learning. My other learning has been that I have built products globally that were handling millions of transactions, but I found scaling organization is much more challenging and also interesting than scaling a platform. And I see that the biggest people we asset a leader can have is the people, and a leader is as great as the team a leader has.
Absolutely, sir. So now moving ahead, so as per you, what are some of the technologies that you think will shape our world?
Yeah, so there are quite a few interesting, but I would sort of focus on retail because that's what I am doing. And especially in Reliance Retail, our focus has been towards omni-channel commerce, providing customers a very seamless, integrated experience, whether they are uh, touching our physical stores touch point or they are on our digital channels. And in that context, I see the augmented reality, reality is going to become more and more dominant and bringing the physical experience of the product. In my case, how does the apparel look on me? Does it fit? That experience we see on the physical stores, bringing it on the digital channel. So that is one thing I am very excited about. Again, on the store side, endless aisle is a technology. You go to store, you see, I like this cloth, but I don't have the large size, and then you sort of get disappointed. But now with endless aisle, you can see if it is available in any other store or online, and it get delivered to you at your home, or you can pick it from a store. We have recently launched a Zolt store, and with a smart trial room and magic mirror, which again is going to see a lot of traction. So this is converging the difference between physical and digital. I am also very excited about AI ML. We have seen the potential of it. I think next 5 year we would see a much more of it, especially around personalization, giving very personalized experience to the consumers. And lastly, blockchain. Uh, Blockchain, especially in my context, if I see in supply chain, it can enable a lot of efficiency in logistics in supply chain. We can have what we call as farm to table tracing. Where is the product coming from, where it has gone, and in our word we call it fiber to retail journey.
Right, sir. So, as a leader, what has been the toughest situation that you had to handle so far?
There has been many, but I would pick probably which would be very relevant in our current context or scenario. uh, this is when we had to I was working in a startup company, and we had to then decide that we have to let go 50% of our people, right? The people who had contributed greatly to us. And I could not sleep for a few nights, I still remember. But then me and my colleague sort of thought of few things and approached our CEO with certain ideas. And what we decided is we have to do that, but we would do it in a very human and professional manner. Our CEO spoke to each function individually, giving the message why and thanking the people who have contributed. Then each of us talked to each of our teammates individually, listing out the plan, and we supported them. We sort of created a separate section in our office where the people can come for another month. We After office hour, we would coach them on interviews, and we also shared their profile, reached out to other companies in our investor portfolio and other people in our circle who were hiring, and sort of help them getting a suitable job and role. And it worked really well. So in business, many times these hard decision has to be taken, but what makes a lot of difference and test your leadership is how do you carry out the tough decision. And I think in current context this would be very relevant.
Absolutely, sir. So now I really want to know from you that how do you see the adversity and setbacks in your life?
The only way to make progress is fail, and failure are a stepping stone to success. But I see adversity is a bit different than failure. But adversity, I believe, comes in our life to teach us some lesson that is important for us to learn, to grow. Right? Many times in adversity, we get dejected, feel hopeless, uh, lose faith. But it may be a blessing in the disguise. And I would share one example of my personal life, the toughest one I faced, to the extent that I also, at one point of time, uh, lost my faith. Uh, but after some time, so basically, I was coaching a startup. These were young founders. And then after seeing the benefit of the engagement, they wanted me to come full time. They pursued me for a long time and eventually decided to join them as a partner. And of course, the company cannot pay the market salary, so I came at half of salary, and with a good stocks, right? And then within 4 months we turned around things quite a bit. uh, One of our biggest customer who was on churn was so happy that the customer awarded as the best vendor. We raised multiple rounds of funding. Our valuation became multifold, much beyond what we had been expecting. But then I got to know about few uh, ethical violations, that were not aligned to my values. I sort of had a word with them, and finally it was that I either compromise, which I cannot, or we separate. And I took the second decision. uh, but then they went out back on their commitment. uh, Stock was a good part of me taking this risk and losing the money I was getting as a compensation in other companies. And it sort of uh, really, at one point, I lost trust. I lost trust in the ecosystem as well. But then when I gathered back, I saw that there was a purpose behind it. I met a coach and my guru who I had been looking for 8 years, and if this would not have happened, I would not have met him or recognized him. And this not only positively turned around my life, it also had a significant impact on my family. My kids started blossoming at another level. My wife started her own venture that we were never imagining. And if this would not have happened, probably I would have missed. I realized what is the larger purpose of my life. So many times it may be blessing, and then you learn the lessons. For example, the lessons I learned here is that you need to protect your interest, and especially in corporate world, it's very important to have things in writing in a formal agreement, right? Which many times we miss. And fortunately, I've been now able to help people. I see many people going through similar challenges, and I've been able to help out 8 9 people so far. So I think if we change our perspective, we can see blessings in disguise.
Very correctly said, sir. So now I really want to know from you that how do you actually, generate the new ideas and innovation? So what exactly is the thought process on these things?
So innovations are critical in nowadays everywhere, but in technology it is a lifeline. Innovations are lifeline. And I see that, especially as a leader, we need to create an environment where innovation can thrive. This basically means create a safe environment where different people can share their idea fearlessly. You must welcome failure and learn from it. The team should not be afraid of taking risk. So that safe, encouraging environment is very much needed. I also encourage my team to ask why. Not just that you have been given some task and you do it, but ask why. Why is this needed? What would be the benefit? I also connect them with business and end users so they know that what they are building, how is it going to be used, right? And I think what I also do is try to build some formal mechanism, creating some platform, where we do internal events, competition, and also participate. So things like hackathons, things like idea jams, things like coding competitions, right? And then some of these ideas we actually take it to mainstream project, which motivates people that if it is aligned to business and has a great value, it can become a mainstream.
All right, sir. So now talking about this Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign, though this concept of becoming self-reliant has been there around us since many years, but then ultimately this pandemic situation that has actually made us realize that how important it is for every one of us. So, what would you like to say on this concept of becoming Atmanirbhar?
I think it's a very great initiative and phenomenal vision of PM. And in fact, since my high school days, I always used to wonder about it. I think the true independence comes when you are self reliant. And the world also respect you when you are self reliant. That is how the international diplomacy and relation. We at Reliance, for example, had been at forefront of it for very long, and we are not building in India for India, but also for Bharat, and then we want to take it globally. If we see the platforms that we have created like UPI, it is much better than most of the other advanced systems in the developed nation, right? It is catching fancies of the world. We already are pharmacy of the world and supplied to the world uh, the medicines, vaccines in the pandemic. We have a great human potential, and what is needed is directing them towards a meaningful purpose and goal. So this is something I'm very very excited about.
Right, sir. So now comes the question which I, personally love to ask our awardees, and that is, what are your feelings on winning this Indian Achievers Award for yourself?
Firstly, I am honored to get this. Extremely delighted, and would like to thank you, IF. This is a great work IF is doing by recognizing people in different areas of life, and it's very motivating. And of course, I also felt a great sense of gratitude towards my family, my parents, because of whom I am what I am, and then my family, my wife, and kids, which have been a pillar of strength. This is definitely a very great initiative by IF. Thank you.
And I once again congratulate you on this achievement of yours, sir.
Thank you.
Right. So now, as we have discussed a lot about your professional journey and also, the plans that you might be having in future, tell us a bit about your social contribution too, as in the CSR activities that you are involved in.
So, as a company, as a Reliance, we have a Reliance Foundation, which is working in various areas in education, in sports. Take any area, in most of the area in healthcare, we are there. So, I don't think it need a lot of uh, description. Coming to my personal side, as I mentioned, one of my passion has been mentoring and coaching people, budding leaders. uh, I continue doing that, and since I came in contact with my uh, coach, my guru, I have also got connected to his mission, which is enriching 1 billion lives globally. What I believe and what I realized, especially after meeting him, is that if we give a person a fish, we are helping the person, but we are for a day and making the person dependent on us. But if we teach them how to fish, we are giving them true freedom. So our endeavor is to awaken human intelligence and elevate their consciousness. And once we believe, once that happen, people would be truly empowered. So that's another mission that I have joined and doing my bit there.
All right, sir. So now, before concluding our lovely session, what message or mantra you would like to give to our new generation and budding entrepreneurs to become successful in their journey?
Okay. There are quite a few message. One, I believe, especially working in startups, that focus on creating the value uh, rather than chasing the valuation. If we have really created a true value, valuation would automatically follow. Right? The second important thing I learned is that any day culture eats strategy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So focus on that. Lead your people, inspire them, and thirdly, don't limit yourself. Many times the limitations are in our mind. Remember what you believe. You would be able to achieve it with perseverance.
Absolutely, sir. And I'm sure that these words of yours will surely be helping out the youngsters out there. So thank you so very much for joining with us today. It was pleasure talking to you, and I wish you all the success for all your future endeavors as well. And may you continue to inspire us the way you are doing. Thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you, Varsha, and thanks to IF team.